Hi, in today's video, let's take a look at the soldering station from FNIRSI. The model number here is DWS-200. FNIRSI is sending this for me to review. As usual, I will provide a link in the video description below for those who are interested. On the channel, I've reviewed quite a few soldering irons lately. Most of those, though, are just the soldering irons themselves, and you will need to connect to an existing power supply or USB power PD adapter. The DWS-200 here is all self-contained. Here we have the main control unit, which also has the power supply built in. And here we have the integrated soldering iron stand, which feels actually really sturdy. There are a few accessories you can also attach to the iron stand, and we'll take a look at them shortly. Now, of course, there are some pros and cons to a dedicated soldering station. The main benefit is that once you set it up, it's really convenient to use. Also, it's not constrained by your USB power adapter's output power, which usually is limited to between 65 watts and 90 watts. The maximum output power of this DWS-200 is 200 watts, so you should have no problem handling the toughest soldering job, for example, soldering over a large ground plane. The main downside, though, is that a dedicated soldering station like this one takes up a lot of space. For this reason, you actually rarely see me using a soldering station in my videos, because I have limited space on this desk area here. My main soldering station is actually a hot air rework station with a built-in soldering iron, and its size is even bigger than this one. Because of the size, I actually keep it in my workshop. Now, if you do a lot of soldering work, a dedicated soldering station like this one probably makes a lot of sense, as the handles tend to be a lot lighter because there's little to no electronics inside, and they're generally just a lot more comfortable to hold, especially if you're using it for a prolonged period of time. Anyway, here is pretty much everything that comes with the DWS-200. It comes with two handles, one F210 and one F225, as you can see here. The F210 is ever so slightly smaller than the F225. And also it came with quite a few of these spare tips for these two iron handles. The ones on right here, these are the HS02A. These tips are for the F225 handle. And these ones are the HS02B. And these ones are for the F210 handle. And here is a close-up of the tips for the F245 handle. You can see we have a chiseled one, a couple of conical ones, and also we have a couple of knife-style tips. And here are the supply tips for the F210 handle. You can see we have two of these conical ones and one knife one. Noticeably, there's no beveled or chiseled tip supplied for the F210 handle here. Now, I have to say these handles feel pretty good in your hand. The grip is soft and the handle is relatively light. They actually look and feel pretty similar to the handles supplied with the MiniWare TS1M soldering station I reviewed a few months ago. All right, let's actually take a look at the control unit here. So you can see here, there's not much to it. On the back, of course, there's the input for the soldering iron, and here we have the mains power input. On the side, you can see that we have these mounting points for you to mount the provided helping hands. So let's actually take a look at that. And you can see here is the mounting mechanism with the cover removed. So let's actually try to plug in one of the helping hands. Let's see how it works. By the look of it, we should just be able to plug it in like this. Yeah, you can see that it actually stays relatively well here. And let's plug in the other one. And you can see that the helping hands are now in place. I changed the angle a little bit so you can see these helping hands here. Now, these are actually pretty long. I will have to see how well they work in a little bit. FNIRSI also provided this wire holder you can mount on the side of the soldering stand. The idea here is that you don't have to worry about dragging the wire across the table here. So let's take a look at how well it works. All right now the wire holder is in place. You can see that indeed, it definitely helps, as right now the wire is in the air. I no longer have to worry about dragging the wire on the table here. You can see that here we have a metal brush for cleaning the soldering iron tip. Now, this is a little bit unusual, as typically you either use a wet sponge or a ball of brass wool, but I think this will work just fine. All right, one more thing to connect. Here we'll have a wire that's connecting between the unit and also the stand. And this is for iron tip detection. Once you put iron into the holder, it will detect the presence of the iron and it will power down after a period of time. Anyway, so let's put everything together. All right, let me put in the tip. The tip I'll be using is this beveled one. By the way, this is for the 245 handle. And let's put it in. And by the way, you see these slots here on the soldering iron stand, and these are actually for you to hot swap the tip. So the idea here is you grab onto it and you pull, and the tip will come off. So it will come in handy if you are doing soldering and if you need to change to a different tip. All right, now let me power it on. There's a physical switch at the back, and we should be able to power it on. Let's select English, OK. Let's see what it's saying here. When the iron tip is ready, press it in the sleep seat or any key to start working. Oh my goodness, that's quite a mouthful. And I think what it meant is press any key to start. So I guess what happened here is if you didn't have any iron tip in, you can actually use this opportunity to put in the iron tip. Anyway, so let's actually press a key and start. And you can see we are reaching the operating temperature, and you can see some smoke coming off from the iron tip. Not sure if you can see the smoke here, but anyway, now it's 300 degrees. So you can see here we have 3 of these preset temperatures, and I think you can use the channel key to switch between them. Yep, you can see that. Now we're at 360 and go back to 300. Very good. And let's take a look at the other settings here. So let's press mode. And you can see we have this graphic display on the bottom. And let's press mode again. And here is another display here. So the temperature is essentially displayed in the corner, and we have this larger graphic display. For me, I think I like this display better. But anyway, so let's see what else we have. We can press the setting. And here we can change the step of the temperature setting. 5 degrees is probably enough. And sleep set, okay, in sleep mode, the temperature drops to 100 degrees. Standby time 30 minutes. Of course, you can change any of these settings. Let's, for example, change the sleep temperature. Let's say we want to change it to 110. And you can do that. No problem. So let's see what else. Yep, now you can see that we can change the individual settings. So let's actually take a look at that. So let's say I wanted the first setting to be 310. And let's say the second one, I wanted this one to be 350. Okay, and the third one I want to set to 375, let's say. And here is a temperature calibration. Since I don't have any equipment to do that, I'm going to skip that. And system settings, let's turn the volume down. Go down here. Okay, much better. All right, so that's, I think, pretty much it. Yep. And of course, you can reset to default, and then we're back. All right, so that's pretty much everything you can adjust with this soldering station. I'm not sure if you remember or not, but originally the third setting here is 360, and we changed it to 375. But you can see here, it actually still remembered the original setting here. So let's actually cycle through. Let's change it to 350 here. All right, for the first test, let me solder a row of header with these helping hands. Let's see how well they work. Let me get one on first. Get another one on. Okay, so let me zoom in. I have to say, the helping hands work really well. you can see that actually the helping hands are pretty useful here. So let me put the iron in the holder here. Yeah, you can see as soon as I put in the holder, it detected it. Therefore, the temperature started dropping here. So let me take it out. And you can see that it ramped back up. So the iron tip detection feature worked pretty well as well. For the next test, let's actually try to solder on this ground plane here. Now, you may have seen me using this board testing other soldering irons before. This board has these VS-stitched ground traces. These are actually very difficult to work with if you don't have sufficient power. So let's see how well the F225 handle works. So let me try to solder something onto this ground plane here. Of course, I think a knife tip probably will work better here. So you can see there's no problem. Actually, let's change it to a knife tip. So now let's actually change this iron tip here. Yeah, it detected the tip had been removed. So let me put one in. This feature is actually very good because you can see here I just plugged the tip in and I was wondering whether or not it will power up immediately, but it didn't. Instead, it's actually asking you to press a key. So that's good. So let's press a key. And now we should be up to temperature in a few seconds. Yep. So now let's actually try this ground plane again. So let me zoom in. Yeah, you can see that there's no issue at all. It's very good. And let's try the larger one. And you can see that it worked really well. Now let's do the water test. And you can see that it definitely recovers pretty quickly. Let's actually change the display mode. And let's see. And you can see the power actually went all the way up to 100%. It recovers pretty quickly. Now, I have seen some reports that the tip of the iron is actually not grounded in this DWS-200. So let's actually verify that, whether or not this has been fixed by FNIRSI. So here I have continuity, and let's test that. So here's the tip. And you can see that actually the tip is grounded, at least in this latest version of the DWS-200. All right, now let's open it up and take a quick look inside. Yeah, it definitely looks like FNIRSI had fixed the issue. You can see here is our ground terminal and it's soldered onto the board, so no issues. Of course, if I were doing this, I would probably use a crimped terminal instead of soldering. I have to say though, the wiring is a little bit messy here, and you can see we do have these sharp corners on the heatsink. And of course, it's not designed for you to disassemble this, but if you're not careful, the wires could be rubbing against these metal heatsinks and potentially cause a short. Of course, once it's assembled, I suppose it doesn't really matter. Down there you can see the main controller board. Of course, the markings on the main microcontroller has been sanded off. I don't know why these Chinese manufacturers do that. All right, the latest revision of the FNIRSI DWS-200 seems to be a pretty solid soldering station. Now, if you do a lot of soldering work, you probably want to invest in one, and the DWS-200 is relatively inexpensive. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this review and teardown. If you liked the video, please remember to give it a big thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this in the future. If you want to support my work, you can join the channel, and I would like to say thank you in advance. Your participation makes videos like this possible. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.